Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Page of Swords podcast. This is going to be episode 36 with Justine Albert, who is an IFBB physique pro, hitting the stage soon. And I'm so excited to bring you on today. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, definitely. And just so everybody knows, you're local to me. So you're one of my local pros here in the, I guess you could call the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're up in Vandergrift area?
Apollo Vandergrift, yeah.
Okay, cool, right. And, just to start off the bat, you have your own gym and stuff up there too, right?
Yes, we just opened, it'll be actually officially open to the public in July, about a year. So, yeah, it's very exciting.
Yeah, wow, yeah, that's so cool, and that was, before the COVID and everything, like all the shutdowns. And it's awesome you guys were surviving and doing well.
Yeah, it was a little rough last year. We actually did stay open the whole time, but we just kind of opened to clients and people that we trusted, weren't going to have an issue with it. So because we were supposed to open in March. So that was a big holdup, holding off almost 4 months to open a new business. So we couldn't do that. So we just kind of opened anyway. And then we did like a kind of a late grand opening in July. Definitely. But it is going good. I will say it is. And we didn't let anything, mess us up or hold us back. So we're very lucky to have really loyal people.
Yes, definitely. I know. I see you guys up there working hard. It's a good sized gym too, it seems.
Yeah, it's 10,000 square feet.
Okay.
Pretty big.
Cool. And then you also, is that connected to your dance studio? Because you have that also, right?
Yes. No, they're not connected at all. The dance studio is actually in Vandergrift. The gym is in Apollo. So that's an entire another business. So I have that, to take care of this. That's the, this is our 16th year in business for the dance studio.
Wow.
Yeah, lots of work.
And when you started the dance studio, how was that process? When you got your first studio, because I'm sure that definitely helped you along the way when you started the gym.
Oh yeah, definitely. So my entire family's always been business owners. My dad and my uncle own a business together. My grandfather owned a business. So I kind of just grew up thinking that you own a business. I really didn't know anything else. So when I started the dance studio, I was actually still in high school. I was planning on going to college for dance and for nutrition. So that's what I went to Seton Hill for dietetics. And I did major in dance also. So I actually started the studio in my grandpa's old tailor shop. I turned it was a very small room. I turned it into a dance studio, did everything myself, painted. My dad helped me build bars, started with, I think, 6 students. And then every year, and I would teach mostly during the summers, because obviously I was in school, and we would have huge summer programs, really long classes, kind of to make up for what normal studios would do in a regular school year. And then every year it would kind of double. It would go from 6 to 15. And then the next year I had 30. And then by the end of college, I decided this is really what I want to do. I'd always wanted to do that, but I really, doing that over the years definitely confirmed that. So the building right next to my dad owns a screen printing and embroidery business in Vandergrift. So the building right next to his came up for sale. And I bought that, and it's a 3-story, 3-floor building. Each floor is about 2,700 square feet. So as soon as I graduated, I spent that entire summer turning that into a dance studio, and we opened with, I think, 150 students, and now we're over 300.
That's amazing. So I would assume you have several dancer instructors under you too that you employ.
Yes. I have 3 girls that are amazing that have been teaching with me for a while now. Dance is a very I'll be 34 this year. Dance is a young sport, I will say. I know with bodybuilding it's opposite. I feel like the older you get, the better you get. With dance, you're in your prime when you're in your early 20s. So it was getting a lot for me. Not that I can't still dance, but it was getting a lot to teach everything. So I did, it's always nice to have some fresh ideas and younger faces, especially with the kids. So I have some amazing instructors that really take care of everything for me, especially now that I'm at the gym a lot more too.
That's fantastic. Yeah, definitely. Now, I'm sure that business is now pretty established at this point then too.
Yeah.
Let it go a little bit. So how old were you when you started to dance? Because I feel like I've heard you talk about your dance background before.
Yeah, I started when I was 3. My mom put me in class right away. I would say I started getting serious about it, that I really started caring. It wasn't just my mom taking me to dance class, probably when I was 8 or 9. And then pretty much that was really the only sport that I did up until high school. And in high school, I ran track. I did track and field in high school and in college. So that was really it. Dance takes up a lot of time. There was really no time for much else. It was like 5 nights a week, school nights, and then Saturdays all day. So there wasn't much time for anything else.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm sure you did like routines and things for like some competitions.
Yeah, I did compete for a bit. That got to be a lot too, just because of the traveling. So I did stick more with like performance based. I didn't compete for all that long just because it's crazy. It's a very pricey activity. So that's why I don't have that at our studio. We don't compete just because the area that we're in, it's not feasible for a lot of people. So I don't like kids to feel left out. That's why we never had like a competitive team and a recreational team. We just have everybody. So just worked out better that way. Nicer environment.
That's awesome that you were able to take something that you did as a kid and, now you're in the place that you can help other young kids and teach them. And I'm sure you've got a lot that you feel have like some potential too.
Yeah, we have all types. I've had kids that have gone on to dance professionally. We have others that just want to come and have fun and jump around for an hour. Yeah. I have a couple of girls that ended up cheering in the NFL, dancing for different companies, touring with shows. And then, like I said, some just have fun and just do it for fun.
That's fantastic. And you coach. Oh, there's that thunder. I know. I'm like waiting for.
Yeah, it's like I'm hoping this doesn't go out.
Well, hopefully it's quick and we don't lose internet. But
yeah, really.
So you coach, and that's how I know you. You're in the bodybuilding area for coaching. You've got several clients. You just had several compete and did well.
Yes.
So how long have you been coaching? Let's start there.
So I would say, I started training just like general health and fitness clients, I would say probably 12 years ago.
Okay.
And then I honestly, at first, I'll be honest, I didn't want to get into coaching for bodybuilding because it's just a whole different ballgame. And and not that I don't love my competitors, but I really, really liked working with like the general health and fitness people. They were just, when it comes to do with like your health, like so many people are trying to just better themselves for more internal goals, I guess I would say, than for the stage. It was just really not like, I loved working with like older people, their goal was to be able to plant their garden that year, to be able to walk up the steps better, things like that. And but then I started getting people asking about the bodybuilding, and I took on a few people, and it started going really well. And it was one of those things I was like, well, I do enjoy doing this too, so why not? And I'm glad I did, because I have, especially over the last few years, I've built a really awesome team, and they're so supportive of each other. It's so nice. Like people that never would have met otherwise, like they're all friends on social media, even the ones that aren't even local to each other. And they are just really, really supportive of each other. So I'm very, very glad that, that I stuck with that. So I would say probably about like 9 years that I've been doing that.
And then transitioning into the competitive, I know, like you said, it's definitely way different to have, you really need these people to be accountable,
That, yeah. So. Yeah. And that's the problem.
Because like, honestly, I have someone who's very young. He's a teenager and he would like to compete next year. And like, I'm the kind of person who, I'm not like you have more of like an educational background. And I'm someone who would just like to take him under my wing. I don't really want to call myself a coach, but just the fact where I'm like, see, this isn't just like giving somebody like, a couple things to do, like maybe try. No, this is like, if you want to like build muscle, I'm going to need you to eat, like, and I'm going to trust that you're doing that. And like, I can't imagine just having a handful of clients and just really hoping that they're all listening. So, I mean, what's your experience with your clients?
So I've had all types. You get people. I think the most frustrating thing with the competing is especially because it's become such a, like on social media, it's just become very mainstream. People don't understand what it really is. They think if they diet for 10 weeks or 12 weeks that they can get on stage and they can look like people that have been competing for 10, 12 years. And that's really hard to get through to people, that's not how it works. And that you don't just do a prep. And I think that's, and I have people that'll do that to me. They don't train with me in an off season. They just come to me and they don't do anything in an off season. They don't work out. They don't eat right. They go from being normal person. And then they come to me, 3 months before the show and go, okay, I want to prep again. And I'm like, but that's not how this works.
Yes. Yes.
And that's the most frustrating thing to try to get through to people, that this is a lifestyle. We do this all the time. Like what we do, and I know, I mean, you know what I mean? Like what we do in prep is no different than what we do off season, other than it's just less food, maybe a little more cardio. Otherwise it's the same thing.
It really isn't, because at this point, like you just said, like, I mean, I've been in prep since like Halloween, but I needed that time because I had a long off season. But in reality, like, I'm just kind of like, well, I mean, it's just the same, like, I don't know, like, it's just easy.
It's just life.
And I like my food. So I'm like, I guess you didn't really need to change like, it's not like a crazy 360, but yes, you were very correct there. And I'm sure, do you ever find that you have clients that, or is it more under eating or overeating, or are you kind of
both of them? I mean, and I would say with the men undereat, the women overeat.
You know what? I'm not even surprised.
I've never had girls complain about how much food I have to give them. It's the men that they don't usually, they think they're eating a lot and they aren't. But I mean, it changes. It's from person to person. It's just, and the understanding that it has to be 100%. I just had a client last week that she sent me a picture of her plate and said, does this look like the correct amount of rice for meals 3 and 4? And I said, well, did you measure it? And she said, oh, no, I didn't. I guess I should measure. I guess I need to start. And I was like, there's like smoke flying out of my ears. I'm like, did you think that the portion sizes I wrote down for you were like, I'd prefer you to use that, but go ahead, do whatever you want. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, how do you know? Like, you could have a cup, you could have a fourth a cup, you could have 2 cups. I don't know what the hell you have on your plate. Like, measure it.
Right.
Like what I send you, like I spend about 3 to 4 hours per client on their diet. And I'm like, it wasn't an estimate. It's what it says on there is all, that's it. You don't put anything else in your mouth except what's on that paper.
Right. And diet, yeah, like you just said, like writing up a diet plan and stuff takes time. Like, and you want it to be almost customizable to each client.
Yeah.
It's not like a crazy thing. Like, there's no, I mean, when you start out with someone, it's probably going to look cookie cutter, but at the end of the day, like, we're eating all the same kind of food. So like,
yeah, but I have bikini girls that weigh 97 pounds that are eating more than I am on prep at 100. And right now, even this is my lowest, I'm 161, and they're eating triple what I am at the end of a prep to get lean. It's so different from person to person.
And that's another thing too. It's really hard. Some of these competitors, especially with the females, because we want to eat, we want as much food as possible. But it's just like, you see some of these other girls who get to eat so much, and then you're just like, well, why not me? Like, because I mean, that's kind of how I was earlier in my career too, where I was just like, I don't understand why I don't get more food, and gets all like cheat meals every weekend. And then now I understand. I'm like, no, I have a desk job. I don't get to move around that much. My body might not respond. And plus, Sid Gillen's been doing the track and the stuff for years, so her metabolism has just always been rampant. And
it just depends on the person too. Like, I literally am on my feet. I always joke. My joke is like, I look at other pros that like, I'm bigger than, I have more muscle than, and I'm like, why do they get that giant plate of food and I get a piece of tilapia and a lettuce? That's what I always tell Joel. But I mean, I'm on my feet from 5 a.m. until 9 o'clock at night. I got hit cardio every day. I literally never stop moving. I have a ton of muscle mass, but I have a shitty metabolism. I have a super slow metabolism. It doesn't matter how much muscle I've built. It doesn't matter what I've done. That's just, for me to get super lean, I don't get a lot of food. Yeah. And part of me, I would love to be able to eat more and be able to get lean, but it just, you got to make peace with it.
Exactly. And it definitely takes some time to kind of let reality sink that in for some of us competitors, because we work so hard in the gym or whatever, and we're just like, I feel like, you just can't say I deserve it, because it's just like that.
Yeah, you just gotta realize like, this is what I need to get where I need to be, and it is what it is, and everybody internally is so different. You can't compare to what other people are doing.
So do you have any competitors doing any coming up shows? Who's going up on stage next?
I got Justine Reiter's doing Masters Nationals in physique in a couple weeks. I actually took her on very late. She was coaching herself and just reached out for help. So that's, I've only been working with her for about 7 weeks total, I believe.
And I love that too, because I'm so glad that she made the switch. I know that she was kind of trying to linger in figure for a long time. And I'm just like, girl, you're so hard. Like,
I
you
know.
have muscle.
Yeah. This last show, I even told her, I'm like, I don't even know why you're doing figure, but she wanted to, so whatever. But yeah, she's definitely more physique. But we got some things to fix up if she decides to stay with me off season, which I think she is. I'm really, she's a hard worker, so I'm really happy to have her and to work with her.
Mm-hmm.
And then actually, I don't have anybody else really until the fall. I tried to not schedule it like anybody around when I was going to be competing, but I did have a client. He's brand new. His name's DJ. He's a great kid. He's well, he's not a kid, he's an adult, but he's a great guy. And it's his very first prep. He just started kind of getting into this. So he's hooked now. He's one of those people like didn't follow everything off season, or well, not even off season, but like his first program with me. But now that he's seeing the changes during this prep, he's like, wow, I really wish I would have been stricter, because I probably would have got a lot farther. I said, it's all a learning process, man. Like, it's all part of it. But he's doing really great now. So his show is actually, he's doing Elite Physique, which is the same weekend as my pro show. So we've already talked, and I have another friend who's a coach. She's going to take him and be with him at the show. I have a bikini girl doing that show also. She's competed with me before. And then I have a ton of people in that, the natural NPC in October.
Okay.
Some new competitors, a lot of young, like 19, 20-year-old physique guys that are going to be first timers. So that'll be a good show for us.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, those shows are great for the first timers and the young kids. You know,
Yeah.
I believe at that point it should be back in the Pittsburgh area.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited. Thank God.
Hi, that's
so nice. I mean, I'm so thankful that Butler, we got to have those shows there. It was great. But it'll be nice to be back at the music hall, because it's such a beautiful venue. And it's nice to be able to, even for the coaches, for us to be able to go hang out at the waterfront in between, and just a little bit more to do.
Nice venue for Pittsburgh, because, you know, they're not going to have all the shows, you know, those big ones in the city, like the Soldiers and Sailors and the Sheraton. And those are kind of probably too expensive for the smaller shows. So
yeah.
But yeah, they're very, very good shows, definitely.
Absolutely.
So let's just get into your competing then. So if I go off of the NPC website, it looks like your first show that it has recorded was 2013. So is that?
I competed in, I started in like OCB or IFPA before that, years before that. I did my very first show, it was probably like 3 years before that. And I did the Dean's Fitness, the Dean's Natural at Franklin Regional High School.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, and I won the overall in that. I actually got my pro card in the IFPA. Okay. And I didn't know bodybuilding then. I didn't know I didn't understand. And I ended up I did a pro show in that organization, and I won that too. It was in Maryland. And then after that, I mean, I started reaching out to different people for sponsorships, and everybody that I talked to was like, you need to compete NPC. You have to compete NPC if you want to go anywhere with this. So I definitely, that was when I was like, okay, I definitely need to make the switch and just compete NPC. So that was when I had switched over to that. And I did, I competed in figure a few years.
Yeah, it looks like the was it the Mid-Atlantic? Yeah.
Yeah, I did I think the natural, one of the natural ones in the spring. I think in the fall too, I did the Mid-Atlantic. I did figure in the pit, the big Pittsburgh. I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 times. I honestly don't remember. I just realized,
I don't think I've ever seen these pictures of you. I'm just kind of like looking, and I'm just like, wow. Like, Ashley, well, no, I'm like thinking like your girl Ashley, like you guys really are like twins. Like I feel like you're gonna morph her into you probably. Like, but I'm looking at your old figure pictures, and
I know
the green suit. I'm like, oh my goodness.
I know, that's what I kept telling her. I'm like, yeah, we definitely have like so much in common. I mean, she looks way better starting off than I did. So,
well, do you mind if I ask how old you were?
Yeah,
in 2013.
I mean, I would have been in my like early 20s, like 24, probably something like that.
Yeah, so you were even younger. Okay.
Yeah, probably like 20, 24, 23. I got, I mean, obviously I needed to develop more. So I actually started lifting. I kind of did like a backwards transformation. I was like really jacked in high school. Like that's all I did from age. I started working out when I was 12. I got really, really obsessed with it. I loved it. I would do this weird little circuit every day when I got home from school with like 1,000 different sit-ups, push-ups, pull-ups, all this stuff. And that's in high school, my nickname was Flex Muscles. Like I was just known as the jacked girl. I never had a prom date because I was out benching the guys. So then same thing in college. Like I did that all through college. Like I was just always in the gym. I was benching 225 by the time I was 18. Mm-hmm. And then after college, I will admit, and I know I like to be very open about this, I had a little bout with eating disorders. Mm-hmm. I had wanted to lose weight. I always had worked out, but I literally ate whatever the hell I wanted. Like I got away with it. I wasn't lean, but I wasn't big because between track, lifting, dance, like my whole life was exercise. Mm-hmm. So I got away with kind of eating like a pig. Mm-hmm. And not being too overweight. And I wanted to be lean so bad. And this was the sad part, and I will even admit this, the sad part about this was after I had my degree in dietetics. So like I knew better. I totally knew better. But and this is, I think it's very important for competitors to understand, like it gets to our head, what your body looks like. That body dysmorphia is real. And I lost so much muscle. Mm-hmm. By going through that. And luckily it wasn't that long of a time period. It probably was only like a year and a half, but I lost probably over 55 pounds. And it was definitely not good. So I had to build back all that size that I lost. I mean, if I hadn't had that much muscle mass to begin with, I probably would have actually got really sick. But the lowest I got down to like 129 pounds. And for me, I mean, I looked like a bobblehead. I had this like huge head and this tiny little body. So then that's when I had started getting into competing. I was like, I wanted to do this. And so my pictures when I first started competing, they're just this like scrawny little being that doesn't show really like what I had started at originally. Mm-hmm. So I always think about it. I wonder like if I could go back and diet correctly, like where I would have been, but everything happens for a reason. So It all worked out good. But, mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was actually that's how it all started. And I really figured just wasn't, I'm too square. I just have a wide waist, and I had to build everything else up to compensate. So now it does, it does, I have a very small waist on stage now, but it's just because I've built my legs and my back up so much to compensate for it. So, yeah. I did okay in figure in smaller shows, but I would get told that I was too hard, and then I'd come in softer and I get told I was too soft, and then I'd just get told it. So I really had wanted to do physique. So I took off like 3 years to just grow.
Yeah, I see that. So like 2014, you kind of stuck around with figure. Then you took a little break and then came back in 2016, and you went right to the Pittsburgh, correct, for physique?
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I did do physique that year in the pit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I did, I don't know if it's on there. I did the Arnold that year.
Oh.
Right before the pit.
Yeah, in 2016, at least on their website, they didn't put it on there for maybe the pit.
Yeah, maybe the Arnold isn't on there. Yeah, I did the Arnold in March, and then I did the pit in May, that 2016. And then, after that,
Arnold? Do you remember what you placed at the Arnold?
Yeah, I got fourth. I was there was only 2 United States citizens to make finals. I was like super shocked because some of those girls were that was my first physique show, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to make finals. And I did, and I was so happy, and I got fourth, and that was like amazing. And actually I do remember that year I shouldn't have done the pit. I had a lot of digestive issues going on. Okay. They were long-term issues that I've had for a while that I actually just this past year fixed. But I looked awful at the pit. I was watery and flat. I had a procedure done the week before, so I didn't have a coach. Somebody should have told me to pull out of the show and not do it, because I did not look my best at all. Mm-hmm. But that was when I kind of realized, like, even after that, like, for me to do anything in physique, I needed to put more size on, especially in my legs. I did not train legs crazy in my younger years because of dance, because it took away from flexibility. Mm-hmm. So that was definitely a weak point for me. And I was like, I need to spend the next couple years in the gym just crushing legs, which that's what I did.
But yeah, I'm sure that kind of feedback and everything, because honestly, like I know you said like maybe you weren't ready or whatever, but like honestly, like going to the Arnold and getting like where you did was like fantastic. So like I'm glad that you took that opportunity.
Yeah, I was happy with that. I looked way better at the Arnold. I wish those pictures were on there that I did at the pit, like night and
Yeah.
day, because that was like that actually was probably one of my worst shows I ever came into, because I just really was sick and I really shouldn't have done it. But the Arnold was an amazing show. It was a great experience. I was super happy that I did that, and it's always good to get. I always tell people, like, you don't have to wait until you're ready to compete.
Yeah, I agree.
Compete, I mean, to a certain extent, but compete and get feedback so you can change.
Yeah, like definitely because I hear that too, at least with more men than females. I always hear men that are like, oh, I'm not ready. I'm not big enough yet. I'm like, you look like way better than I've seen some people. So get up there, you know, at least it's like stage practice with posing and getting comfortable at least.
Yeah. And you got to diet down and see what you look like at some point. You just can't keep changing, like growing and growing and growing. And if you've never competed before, if you're brand new, you know, you got to kind of see what your body looks like. So I see nothing wrong. That's why I take on a lot of first time people, because I don't think there's anything wrong with that. No, not all of them look stage ready the first time. Absolutely not. But first off, just see if you like it. See how much you actually enjoy. Some people find out that they don't like competing. They just like the whole process, and they would rather just go to the gym and eat healthy and look good and not compete. So you just got to see first if it's good for you. Yeah, that too. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I and like, you know, when it's a first time or two, you always keep in mind, like, they're going to make mistakes, and I want to be there to give them the good guidance at least.
You're so right. I say that all the time. Like, I would rather, even if they're a pain in my butt and they don't understand what they're doing, like, I'd rather them get the right information than try to go online somewhere and find something that's just crap, or get like information from just another person in the gym that doesn't know what they're doing. Like, I'd rather them learn the right way.
Absolutely. That's why I told you earlier about that teenager. I'm like, I would rather help you than some head who's going to like think that you have to like push something when that's not even going to be necessary for like, like if he just turned 16 or whatever, I'm like, oh God, I don't want you getting like stuck in something. Like, I would rather get you like these proper training techniques and eating. So yeah, I know you understand that for sure.
Yeah, totally agree.
So yeah, let's see. So I personally like, so I know you through your husband technically.
Yeah.
But I remember I first got to see you on stage at when I went to the NPC. It was 2019, right? I'm almost certain it was 2019. But
I did the pit 18 and 19. 19 was when I went pro. 19 I won the pit. 18 I didn't.
Okay. I'm trying to
18 remember. Was when Emily won in 18.
Okay, well then yeah, that was my first one, because I remember like you just dominated for sure. Like, you definitely have like a beautiful shape. I was just so excited to see you, and that was like I said, like my first like pro show, like a big show, I should say.
Yeah.
So to like see you, and I like kind of knew of you, like I was just like so cool, and it was, I don't know, like that process. And then that's when I got to really see that fire lit in you, where it was like, I am gonna like win this show so that I can go and get my pro card. Like, I saw that back then. So can you talk about where you placed in 18 and what took you to 2019 and then that story?
Exactly. So that was definitely my best couple years before that. From 16 to 18 was my best off season. I did put on an insane amount of size. I actually got up to like I did this past off season, almost 200 pounds, and I was pretty lean still. I just trained insane. I didn't do anything else. It was more serious than a prep. I just trained. And honestly, and the reason, I mean, Emily beat me fair and square. She was more conditioned than I was. And I think I had just had a ton of size on me. And I was not looking at the right places as far as leanness. And that was something that I've definitely learned. Like, I always have abs. I had abs when I drank beer in college 5 nights a week. So you can't go by your abs. You got to go by your fattest part. And my legs and my glutes did not get quite as conditioned as they need to be. So, like I said, Emily beat me fair and square at that show. And then we both went to Junior USA's together. And I won my class. She won her class. So, I was lean enough to win my class at nationals. So it wasn't like I was not in shape, but she was definitely more conditioned. So I will be honest, I'm very good at losing. and this is something that I tell people with this sport, you have to be good at losing. When they called her name instead of mine, they called her number, I was so excited to know that I was next in line. Like, I was the next one. I knew I was so close to that pro card. And there wasn't one part of me that was upset at all. Everybody else was. I went off and like everybody else was like, oh, that sucks. You lost by a play. So I'm like, why? I'm just going to come back next year. I know what I need to do. Like, I'm not mad at all. I had an amazing time. I met amazing people. I'm still friends with all of them. We still talk. So I went back, and the feedback from the judges, like, I didn't need to change anything except conditioning. So I went back, trained, maintained my size. I think for females, we can all like work on shoulders. Obviously, that's something that I think most females you never can have too balled out shoulders. So hit shoulders like crazy. My shape was fine. My symmetry was fine. It was just the conditioning. So that next year, I got my ass conditioned as hell, and I did not need to do the pits. And sometimes I feel bad about that, because like I did a show that I really didn't need to do, but like because of that year back in 2016 when I looked so shitty, I had a vendetta against myself in that show. Like, that's my hometown show, and I never brought my best package to it. Even when I did figure, I didn't bring my best package to the pit. So I'm like, I'm winning this show.
Yeah, for sure.
So I did it, and I came in diced, and then I went to junior USAs after that, and that's when I earned my pro card. So I mean, to get that conditioned, and I'm going through it again now, like, it hurts bad. Like, it hurts your soul.
Oh, and I only imagine. I do want to point out real quick that I will always remember that you did the Star Wars theme, and that was May 5th, which is
yes.
May it be with you, like it, or was it May 4th? I can't remember the date. Like,
it was right around it. So
yeah, so it was like, yeah, it was like perfect. So yeah, I'll never forget that, because I was like, that's smart. I love
that you did. I'm a Star Wars freak, so.
I understand
little preview. My pro debut might include Star Wars also. So
I can't wait. Like, yes. I love that stuff.
Yes, me too.
Oh, goodness gracious! But yeah. So the pro card, and then because that was junior Nats is always pretty early in the year, so.
It was junior USA's. It's in South Carolina.
Oh, I'm sorry,
2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks after the pit. So the pit was like the first weekend in May.
Yeah, everything up. Yeah. Everything's in Charleston.
No, you're good. Yeah, and then that show was like 2 weeks later. So that's like that was an easy, doing that 2 years ago. 2 years in a row was a very easy time frame to like hold conditioning. And I came in tighter for junior USA's both years. So that was that was a breeze. That wasn't bad at all to hold conditioning for that time period. But that was a great show. The people there, I don't know if it's just Southern hospitality, but they are so freaking nice.
Southern.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, they were so friendly. And I did, like, the girls that I met there, we all still talk. We all still support each other. I'm hoping to run into some of them at pro shows over the next couple of years, because we all still, I mean, I'm sure, I hope the other divisions are like this too, but the physique girls, maybe because there's not very many of us, we always like really bond backstage. Like, we always seem to bond pretty well and make some good friends.
Absolutely. I love that too. Like, even with figure, it's that's why it's fun to do these shows and travel, because you're going to meet so many people, and I was curious too, like, I definitely understand that most people win their pro card and then they usually shut it down, but was there anything in you that was like kind of wanting to do a pro show right away, or you were set in your mind like, absolutely not, I'm shutting it down, growing?
So I got feedback from Sandy, and her answer was, take this package and go to a pro show right now.
Okay.
And I was so physically and mentally done that I couldn't. And even her saying that, and we watched the next couple pro shows, and I'm never an overconfident person. I'm just not. Like, I'm the most humble person, and I will never say that like I would have won, but I probably would have done pretty well with them. And looking back, I'm like, oh shit. But like, my body was failing, and I needed to fix some things internally. I needed to get blood work done and fix, what was going on. And I knew better than to risk going on. I probably would have ended up not looking good. So I did. I said, I can't do it. I'm done. So I pulled the plug, and I didn't want to wait quite as long as I did, but that was COVID with the gym and everything. I mean, like, I'd give people props for who prepped during all of that, but like with us opening the gym and starting the gym, there was no way that I was going to be able to travel for shows in 2020. So I just kind of took that as an off season and said, I'll definitely, I'm gonna come back in 2021 because it just wasn't feasible with the business. But yeah, I definitely, I think, when you just need to be done.
Yes. Yeah. And honestly, like, it probably did feel good at least to get that feedback that, like,
Yeah.
you knew that the judges were like, you could have if you wanted to. It wasn't like they were like, nah, you don't really need to or whatever. And you're just like, okay, shut it down.
Yeah. And I was, and the promoter, Trey, his name was Trey Bennett. He's the promoter for Junior USA's, and he gives an amazing speech. Him and J.M. Manning both before the show, 2 years in a row. I remember the speech about how no matter how important this is in our lives, like our health and our families and our friends, like, still come first. And even the year before that, because they wanted me to go on, even the year that I didn't go pro, they told me go to the next show. But I had a trip to Mexico planned, and I hadn't been on vacation for, I don't know, probably 10 years, just because running a business, you don't get to take very many vacations. And I was training and running, trying to grow my studio, and there wasn't any downtime. And I just said, it's not fair to my husband. Like, he's there with me doing this all the time. So I said, I'm going to be done. I'm going to go to Mexico with my friends. And so, it was his speech. And I remember emailing him. I said, you were the one that really made me make that decision. Like, yeah, I could have gone on and done junior nats. I could have gone on and competed that year, North Americans, but it wasn't the right time. I really try to have a balance. As much as this is my life, like, it's not fair to not be there for your friends and family.
Absolutely. And, like, you have an established business and everything too. So, like, that's where your money is. And as much as we love to compete, nowadays it's extremely hard to make money. And,
Yeah.
like, it's such an expensive sport. You really have to factor all these things in. And for you, like, you're such a good athlete and everything that, like, you can, like, the stage is there. So when you're ready to be on there and take names like you're going to soon. So, it's like, that's rewarding itself too. And it's good that as an adult and a competitor, you look at that side of things too.
Yeah, I think it's important. I think a lot of people lack with that. And I think there are some people that judge that too. They think if you do have a balance, then it means you're not as serious. And that's totally not true. Like, I know so many pros that have families, like, people have kids. Now we're not having kids, but, like, I know people that have kids, and you can still be 100% serious. And that was something, especially this prep, that I drilled into my own head. I thought about it. I said, I'm a professional. I have to act like a professional now. I cannot shut myself off from the world just because I'm in prep, because I'm going to continue to do this until somebody tells me, until, like, health wise or something, a doctor says, like, hey, you need to shut it down. Like, I don't plan on stopping. So I've gone out with friends. I go out to eat and sit there and just order a water. I've gone to the bar. I've gone to parties. We went to the zoo last week. Like, I've literally just lived life. I mean, am I exhausted? Hell yes. Do I feel sometimes like I just need to fall over? Yeah. But I'm doing those things because you can't, if not, you're just wasting your life away. Why? Just because you can't eat or drink at those venues, which I wouldn't anyway. So does it really matter?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like, everybody wants a cheat meal, but then, like, they get one and then you eat and you're just like, I kind of like my small meals. I like being able to, like, I don't know, like, I can't even eat the rest. If I have any other meals, I don't even want to eat them. And I'm like, I can't imagine, like, being a normal person and, like, having, like, eating like that every day.
I know, I couldn't fathom it. And, like, I'm like real, I mean, and I had my fun. Like I said, I ate whatever I wanted at one point in my life. So I'm totally not like I like alcohol. I love to drink beer. Mm-hmm. I do not do that often, but in my off season, I do like to have, like, 2 beers. Like, we go out and stop and just have 2 drinks. Cheat wise with food, honestly, like, I am all about, I'm a sandwich person. Give me a turkey sandwich. Just a plain turkey sandwich. Like, that's my thing. Like, I don't do crappy food. I don't like the way it makes me feel. I love sweets, but I'm fine with just a little taste. Like, I'll get Oreos and I'll eat a half of an Oreo. I just want to taste it. Like, I don't ever really binge on things like that, because I don't like the way I feel with it. So I just don't do it.
I definitely agree. Like, I'm the same way, just a couple sweets here and there, whatever. But it's at the point too, where it's just like, you're just so focused on your show and how much hard work. And, like you said, you've had your fun and you felt like that was a mistake and you learned from all that food before. And then now it's like, oh, I've been there, done that. I'm good.
Exactly.
That's how I look. So I kind of want to just maintain. And I always tell people too, don't let food like control you. It's food.
Yeah, you're so right. Yeah. Yeah, and I think even on prep, people are afraid to go anywhere or do anything because they're not going to have the food they need. Bring it with you or make it work. Like, you don't have to like shut yourself off from life just because you have to eat a certain thing. And it bothers other people way more than it bothers us. I know that's my toughest thing with it is other people going, oh, I feel so bad that you can't eat this. I'm like, I don't want to eat that. Like, trust me, you're not tempting me. Like, I don't give a shit what you're eating. Like, eat what you want. I'm eating what I want.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So you're doing the Texas show, correct, for the pro debut? And
Yep.
what's the date?
It is August 13th. So
Okay.
it'll be 6 weeks this Friday.
Okay. Oh gosh, man. How's that feel to say that out loud?
It's going so fast. It really is. It's crazy. Like, I cannot believe how fast it's going. I got everything booked and ready to go. It's like, it really is like flown by. I don't know if it's just because I'm so insanely busy or what, but I can't complain.
If you stay busy, because I did the same thing. Like I told you, like I've been in prep since Halloween, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
You're like, oh, like still in prep, and I'm like, well, I've just been so busy, I just can't believe it, because I'm, going to be 4 weeks out. Yeah, because you're 2 weeks behind me. I have a buddy that might do physique pro at your show. I know because he was telling me, I think the Phoenix Europa is in between, like the week before, and he thought about just staying there and then flying to the Texas show.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, is this your well, obviously it's your pro debut, but have you ever done a show in Texas or anything?
No, I've never been anywhere on that side of the country, so I'm super excited to just see that area and that side of the world. I've never been there at all, so this will be a very first time experience altogether.
Awesome. I love Texas, but yeah, okay, here's a question, because I kind of feel the same way, because like my show's in Arizona. So do you feel like the show will definitely be different just for the fact that it's the West Coast and we're so used to our East Coast?
I've heard that from people that like judging is different, what they're looking for is different, but just from what I haven't been watching the other divisions as much, I will say, just because I am competing this year, but I do try to watch for my clients. But with physique, it seems to be pretty standard all over who's like what they're looking for. So I'm hoping that doesn't, affect it. It just seems to be pretty standard all around for all the shows. What's winning. So, but yeah, I have heard that. So I'm anxious to see if there is any truth to that.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested too, because I heard that also. And because I've actually had people tell me I would do better on the West Coast. And I'm just like,
really?
All right, let's see how this works. But okay.
I think it's great to go to different areas and compete. I think that's great.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely want some traveling experience. Like, obviously it's more money, but after 2020, I was like, we're going to make this work. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
Like, because life's too short. It is fun.
Yeah.
For sure. And
I would probably do it a lot more if it wasn't for the businesses and our dog. We have 9 dogs too and a lot of animals. So it is hard. Like, leaving is rough, but we're going to make it work.
So after Texas, are you keeping in mind there might be some other ones lined up? Because
I would, depending on how that one goes. The Arizona Pro is September 13th.
Okay. Yeah.
So that would be, that would be the next one. I would plan on that one. And that's pretty much it for the season. That's the last show to qualify for this Olympia. So after that, I would be done.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you're going to keep going and try to get like qualified for the fall or the 2022 or anything like that.
Yeah, there wasn't really any other shows that were, I'm not going out of the country right now. I just don't want to do that. Just with everything going on. And so there really wasn't anything else that physique wise, there was anywhere that I like really time wise that I would have went to. So there's a physique pro show in Pittsburgh, but it's masters. And I'm like, come on. That would be awesome.
I know that sneaky stuff. Yeah, I guess like the best type of shows to look at are probably the Wings of Strength shows, which they've got. I think I saw they have a few at the end of the year, but not many. So
I'll see how I feel too. Like, by that point, if I feel like I want to keep going and things are going well, then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for you. It's been a good time coming. You're a local favorite, so I'm just super excited and proud of you. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you. You too. I'm super excited to see how you do. You said you're 4 weeks?
Yeah, we're going to do USA. So it's my first national show. And, I'm, like most girls, it's all about this leg conditioning that's pretty hard, but you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to bring my personal best, and then
Absolutely.
obviously I'll see how the show goes, but I have a feeling we're going to be shutting it down soon for the year, and
Yeah, you've been for a while.
Yeah, and I think I'm pretty happy with how things went, to be honest. It's just
You look great this year.
Thank you so much. And Justine, thank you so much for coming on. I feel like this has just been great to kind of like talk to you. And
oh, absolutely. This is a blast.
And I hope that everybody follows you too. So what's your Instagram for everybody?
Justine Albert _IFBB Pro.
Yes, and you've been doing a great job with your videos. I told you that. Like, I love the topic you're doing. And I don't know if you did one on digestion yet, because I know you brought that up that you had digestion stuff, but that would be maybe a great topic. I'm actually interested to hear more about that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely get that on the list. That'd be great. That is for sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Have a great 4th of July. And
yes, you too.
I'll be cheering you on for the show. So I'll talk.
You too. I'll be watching for it and see what you do. So good luck.
All right. Thanks so much, Justine. Have a good one.
Thanks. You too.